Avast, ahoy, and good day once again to ye mateys! I am actually not going to use my notes because I wrote them for this and it's not what we're doing anymore. There has been a slight technical error. There's some technical bullshit has happened, and unfortunately Fenway cannot join us. And as Fenway was a major part of my planning for this evening, we're not doing that anymore. But we realized that we haven't done a Table Talks in a fucking long while, so let's do that instead! Whee! So good evening, everybody, to the Humblewoood of Monsters and Magic Season 4 Table Talks, where we can discuss the season that was and look at my pretty dice. And Karen... Yeah. Seeing as we're here... Well, no, we'll do it in a little while. So, guys, who the absolute heck are all of you, you splendid individuals? Daria, who the heck are you?
I am Daria. I'm a hacking artist, you know. AI is trying to take my job, but I'm punching it in the face. And yeah, I've done the portraits for this stream. I'm doing emotes sometimes, and I'm just like here, being cool and charming.
Splendid. That you are indeed, my dear. Can also check, I'm just wanting to make sure, chat, could you check to make sure all the audio is sounding good, because OBS did some stuff, and I've reprogrammed it all in the last day, and I'm not a professional at that. Yeah, babe.
Never just one thing, is it?
Yeah. I was like, I'll update my computer, because a lot of things are saying, hey, we need to update. Hey, Ro, how are you, my dear? All good. Sounds good to Ro. Splendid. Karen, who the heck are you?
Hello, I am Karen, sometimes known as the Mother of Bunnies. I'm a performer, a writer, one half of this very channel on this very internet.
Right.
But you can follow me on Twitter at Mother of Bunnies. You can follow my burlesque exploits over on Miss Lola Moore on Instagram, or you can listen to my dulcet tones on the D&D podcast, There Be Dragons.
How's that, Bishop Blood? I have cranked them up a little bit. Probably Brendan as well. Daria, could you just give us a sound check, a mic check, a 1, 2, 3?
Hey, something witty.
Something witty.
Should have seen that
just
coming.
A snatch longer than that.
Something witty.
Oh, surprisingly nice voice there. Good now. Excellent. Brendan.
Surprisingly, fuck
Who
you.
the heck are you? No. As in you have a nice voice, and this is, even for you, surprisingly nice.
Yeah, I can sing, I can dance, I can juggle, I can do it all. And not pay me.
Juggle? You don't get to drop juggle and then not demonstrate.
Oh, no.
You're like, oh no, my petard.
I do have my juggling balls next to me. I know how to handle balls.
Hey.
Like, we have to insist now.
Yeah.
Well,
they're right
now you put me on the
This
spot.
is what happens with table talks. It just rails. What are those?
To be fair, you did do this. You didn't have to mention juggling.
Yeah, but
Daria.
I need to show off.
You do.
Yeah.
You
And
do.
now you can.
How about we do it at the end?
Just-
You
Like a high
tease.
note to
Wuss.
stop on. Mm.
Clown core, baby. Brendan, who the heck are you?
Hi, I'm Brendan Ellis. I too am disgusted at how good Daria's voice is. I'm
Awesome,
an actor and
but
director. I'm an actor and director here in Perth. Heckin' artiste. And I'm just vibing.
Just vibing. Cool.
Vibing.
Excellent. Thanks, Bishop
Vibing.
Blood. Yeah, I just cranked everybody up pretty much to max. Which is good, because that means, yeah, I can balance everything out. And the music isn't overpowering, hopefully. Splendid. And Madame and Monsieur, Dame or the Heron of Beings of it determined a gender persuasion. I be Josh the Pirate. You can find me here on my channel, Courses Cove, where I run D&D and other RPG-related games with me lovely wife, Karen, the mother of bunnies. But you know that, because you've done it already. You've joined us. Well done. Keep doing it, you bloody champions. Yeah, we have all this exclamation mark socials. If I could spell them. Music is a teeny bit too quiet. This is the problem with checking things beforehand and then changing them all. We have the YouTube, upon which you can see the latest episode in the Humblewoood. What was it? Yes, Monday's Major Magica episode. That's the words I was looking for. was very fun. Much wow, can endorse. It depends on how we feel. If we're feeling frisky, we might build Brendan's character for next Monday, because he's going to be joining us for that as well. But, if we can be asked. What else is going on? We also have a Discord, which has reached that fun stage where there's enough people in it that I don't have to poke things to make it happen. It just sort of organically, people are doing stuff now. It's fun.
It makes the Discord sound like an ant farm that you've been poking with a stick all this time.
I think of a little like a worm farm or if we're poking things with sticks, it's got to be a corpse. It's got to be a corpse. Just seeing if it moves or makes noises.
Are you saying that the corpses, maggot population has reached levels where you no longer have to poke it for it to do things?
Maggot was your word. I didn't put maggot in there.
You said worm.
DM Daddy, would you still love us if we were worms?
Absolutely.
They don't love us
think
already.
of you as
Like the
worms,
ship
so-
has sailed.
God says
Chad,
dance
you know
for
what
me.
Josh said before stream? I still love you guys, and I'm like, okay, well,
I did not say
it's-
the word "still" wasn't there. I said I get to hang out with you guys
Despite all of
anyway.
your failings.
Despite not being able to hang out with Fenway, I'm still having a great time because I get to hang out with. I will not be hung on this. I will not be dragged out in front of this car.
I know what I heard.
You may know what
We
you heard.
know
It wasn't
what you
necessarily
really
what was said.
That's true.
Yeah,
Gloves
guys.
are off.
We are, the gloves. Were they ever on with Daria? I don't know if Daria owns gloves. She owns juggling balls, but not gloves. Music seems gone. Yeah, that's because Sirenscape stopped playing it for some reason.
I mean, I do have boxing
welcome
gloves
to our
like,
world.
in this room, if you want to see them
I'm
as
not
well.
shocked
I
by
guess I'm
that. I know
showing
that you do like some bizarre Russian martial art. I know this.
bizarre.
You can't just call other cultures bizarre, Josh.
Can do. I'm
Yeah,
English. That's how it
weird,
works.
Strange other country. Ugh.
What's that
If it's-
gross language you speak?
That's weird sounding language.
If it's a word
It's
I
so
can't pronounce,
exotic.
it's weird. I've been meaning to ask Daria to teach me how to pronounce her surname because I think it's high time I learned.
Wow, 3 years later, you fucking
Yeah,
are
look,
asked
I have
to do
tried,
this.
and
Nice.
like this is as close as I've gotten. Shiftanova?
Yeah, that's not very close,
Yeah,
but okay.
not even close. It's getting worse. Yeah.
Wow, this person learned how to say "żar ptice" before a friend's name, so that shows the
Yeah,
priorities
because I was
here.
getting a lot more shade from not being able to pronounce that one. Also, Google Translate is your friend. I like Daria's surname redacted. I think it's kind of fun anyway.
It's pretty
but
good.
yeah,
Sounds like I'm a spy, which I'm not.
That sounds like something a spy would say.
or not a spy.
Yeah.
Hey, Dak, how are you? Good to see you, mate. Karen, can you tell me about Ukraine?
I can. The Ukrainian people, they've been having a rough time. There's a whole lot of Russians up in their business. There's guns, there's tanks, there's drones. It's a bit of a shit show. So if you are in a position to financially support some Ukrainian refugees, you can click on one of these links in chat. The first one goes to the Emergency Action Appeal, straight up, donation to a group of Australian charities and not-for-profits. Or you can click on the second link and that will take you to the Curious Compendium of Slavic Myth, which is a wonderful Ukrainian-inspired D&D booklet. It's got creatures, it's got subclasses, it's got a gorgeous map, it's got a one-shot featuring the Zherapetitsa. I tried. If
That's
you
the
wanna
face she does
watch-
when I do her surname. It's the exact same face.
Damn, I'm trying to support if I'm not even saying anything.
You did this. You're like,
You don't need to say anything.
you don't.
Like C plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not passing Russian 101 anytime soon. But yes, you can watch it over on our YouTube if you want to check it out. And you can get a copy of that for the mere price of £1, though you can give more if you feel like it. And that money goes to the British Red Cross Appeal for Ukraine.
Splendid. Dak says it is very hot in the north of England. I mean, but global
Sounds
warming
like
isn't
fake
real.
news, Absalom Dak.
Don't buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't get hot in the north of England.
And we're in the Perth, Western Australia, a place that is famously a desert, and we haven't had a day without rain in a month.
Yeah,
not
we're doing
real.
the old switcheroo, and I'm not comfortable with it.
I like
Fine
it.
and normal.
Yeah. I like it. My garden is green. It's weird. So, yeah. This is a Table Talks. For those of you who don't know, we basically have a look at the system, have a look at the game, have a look at the world that we've created, very much communally, and, yeah, talk about how it's going, what we like, what was not. Mine is yellow. Oh, the garden, good. I was just like, should be that color. Oh, no, it shouldn't be, if it's a garden. Yeah. Mind you, for an Aussie, yellow is the norm for a garden color. Unless
you're a
are one of
wealthy
those ones
person who
water
owns a lawn,
it.
in which case you will spend so much time and effort keeping that fucker green.
It's so wasteful.
So what do you do with your garden? Like
They
you're
die.
obviously not
It dies
gonna
every summer.
grow anything. Okay, it's just space.
I water my veggie patch year round.
Oh, okay.
And it's going bananas at the moment. It's not growing bananas. I'm allergic, but it's going bananas. It's doing very well.
Scammed. In a second, fucking scammed.
A lot of potatoes. The potatoes are one of those plants that happens regardless of whether or not you plant them.
Bishop is the same as me. Nice, lame. Banana's good, but it is lame.
No, sadly, I'm massively allergic to bananas, so even the smell of them in my garden, I couldn't enjoy my garden anymore. Yeah, it's the smell as well that sets me off. I'm just violently sick. Which
would be funny were it not disgusting.
Yeah, where it
a
would make
little
my
funny.
garden not very enjoyable. It is a little funny.
Little.
It's been very funny on occasion. There was a show that when we were up in the north of England, in the north of the UK, the Scots would say in the south of the country, absolute coward, just raw dog that shit. And it was in Aladdin, and Aladdin's little brother Wishy Washy.
Is that a name?
Yeah, it is in a pantomime.
According to the British Pantomime Society, it is.
Yeah,
That's horrendous.
oh, it is. Yeah, if you're talking about proper racism, you can't go past the British. And
yeah, the empire was literally built on it.
That's not great.
He does this magic folding trick where he's like, I've got the magical invisible disappearing bandana, and he gets out the kit that they've sent him for the trick, and it's the magical folding banana. So he has to, and basically the kit tells him to fold the bandana in half, and he's like, but it's a banana. So he folds it, and then he folds it again, and folds it again, and it's a horrible mess of banana in his hands. It's very funny. And then I come on stage asking what the hell he's doing, and he one time, and we did 56 shows of this show, and then about performance number 20 or so, he smeared it across my face. And then ran away. He did not know. And then the villain comes on and goes, "Hi there, PC Ping. You all right there?" And he did know. I'm like,
no.
No, I'm not. And he's like, "You all right? Because you look like you're about to be sick." And I'm like, "I might be about to be sick." He's like, "You don't like banana, do you, PC Ping?" And I'm like, "No, I do not. I'm actually very allergic."
What is PC Ping? What is
PC
that?
Ping was just I was a support character. I was the character as in Police Constable Ping. And
because in British pantomimes, if you're playing a Chinese police officer,
oh, he's Chinese. Oh,
you're called PC Ping.
The original Aladdin was set in China.
but like
none of this Arabian Nights business. It's all Chinese. Yeah.
Yeah, but like PC Ping. Okay.
PC Ping.
Okay, British.
And what was the? It was a different pantomime, but the Empress was Empress Taiping. And she kept using the wrong names for things. She like you will be trespassers will be prostituted, and so she made typing errors. Was the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of British pantomime is very racist.
Hey, Band-Aid Betty. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. That's Britain, baby. Yep. And it's 1 month of the year. It's a really good way to make money. Some of
It's wild. British stole so much, but not a bit of decency. Why is this a thing?
No, we exported the decency so that you all have it now. You're welcome.
Thanks.
I'm sorry. We're in Australia, an island where the British dumped convicts.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
famous for
somehow
our
still
decency.
more wholesome. So nice.
we have it twice a year now, Dak. Oh gosh. Not decency, panto. Obviously, we don't have decency twice a year.
Yeah, that's too much decency. Come on.
I think
Was
some
WA
Brits only
free
have
settled?
decency twice a year.
I thought WA was one of the ones that wasn't. I thought it was only Adelaide that was free settled.
Yeah, I thought it was South Australia that was the free settlers and WA
Because they
was
never shut up
dirty
about it.
convicts.
Oh, nice.
They're all like, we're not descended from convicts. And I'm like,
Neither am I. I'm the one who sent you here.
Oh,
I
by the
came
way,
out later.
you should be proud. I am descendant of pirates.
I am
What?
proud. I need to know significantly more about this. This is the real Table Talks now.
Yeah.
It's Daria showing us their juggling skills and also free settled until several years in. And then they added convicts to build things up more quickly.
so we
That-
could have
that
had
tracks.
convict-free bragging rights, and then we ruined it.
And then we brought in slave labor. Well
Isn't
done.
colonialism grand?
But no, don't let us get distracted. Daria's pirate roots, yes. In what
Yeah,
way?
Daria, tell us about how you're descended from pirates.
It's just the town where I live, the city where I live. It was made by a bunch of pirates that used to traverse the wide rivers. Some of them were they're all from Novgorod, which is a huge old city.
Yep.
And you're like, yes, I know.
I have heard of that one.
That's good.
I've built it in
and-
Civilization several times, yes.
Yeah. And they travel on special boats called ushkui, which sounds very funny in Russian, but doesn't mean anything to you. And they just decided to stop one time, hey, this place looks nice. We're gonna build a fort, and that's how this town was made.
And you live in a pirate fort. Excellent.
Yes.
In Russia. Sure.
In landlocked part of Russia, so it's great.
Look, it wasn't everything I hoped for in the story, but it was a pretty good story. I enjoyed it. A
Yeah.
solid
But
8.5.
what did you want? To see my
was
peg
like a
leg?
solid-
It's not today.
Yes. You are playing a one-eyed character with an eye patch. Heck,
Yep.
you're playing a fucking pirate. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the pirate channel, I know the theming, Josh.
Daria, why do you have to live so far away? I want to hug you more.
My ancestors may not have been pirates, but they do have a cove named after them in South Australia.
That's pretty fucking good.
And you've got a
Schlink
cove named
Cove.
after you on the internet.
Sorry?
You've got a cove named after you on the internet.
Well, now I've got one on the internet and one in real life.
Bishop Blood is getting thirsty in chat.
Already? That's quick even for Bishop.
Wow. Sorry,
So-
no tar today.
And Band-Aid's Betty's ancestors were fish. I am struggling. Atlantean, were you?
Human? That's how evolution works?
From
One would hope.
Atlanta, yeah.
Oh, I see. Going that far back, yes. I suppose we all were. Yes.
What is this mysterious code? What
Yes.
are you talking about? Yeah.
It's an evolution joke.
Evolution.
Good, yes.
Oh, good. good.
I was too slow. The rest got it. Well done. Brendan, tell us about your ancestors. No, that's not why we're here.
Well,
For
the
those who
Ellis's
are...
are famous colonists.
Oh,
okay,
nice.
Are they?
I don't know if that's true, but
How many generations, Brendan? Because I'm safe. I'm only 3. I
Have
came
they
after the
owned
worst shit.
slave? Talk to us, Brendan. Come on.
Do we know? Do we want to know?
What
Look,
crimes
all
did
I
they commit in the
know
old times?
is that, there are settlements and notable places named Ellis, and that's never a good sign, particularly not in Australia.
Not in Australia, no.
Yes, if you got a lot
No.
of things named after you, there's the chance you tried to commit genocide.
If
Okay,
there's
a
a
bit of an
statue,
accident.
you're really fucked. Yeah.
Mm.
If you're a statue that has verdigris, if it's a new one, you might be all right. But if it's got a verdigris and beard, no.
What is a verdigris?
It's where copper or like goes green.
Ah, green. Ah, yeah.
It's literally from the French.
Yeah, verdant.
Yep.
Yeah. I see.
Vert, I think, is either German or French. Can't remember, but it's green. Yeah. There you go. New word, everybody. Poggy. Yes. So, I think I have a question for the cast to begin with, because that's the point of Table Talks. So for those who are just joining us, we were going to be having a session, a super promise, and we were going to be having a super special guest. However, some technical issues have arisen, and so we're not doing that. So we're going to have a Table Talks for a little while, and then we might play some Jackbox games, because that's something that we think we might be able to make happen on the fly. Brendan's been pushing for this for years, and I'm up for it.
Yeah.
He's
He's
like, we can
finally
do that.
got
And I
his
was
window of
like, fuck!
opportunity.
Yeah, there you go.
Look, let us know in chat if you'd be interested in watching us play Jackbox. And many Jackbox games have chat participation.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, it would definitely be a possible thing.
Part of me is like, oh, we'll just ask chat what they want us to do. And I'm like, knowing chat, they're going to come up with some real weird shit they want us to do.
Yeah, we've had a couple of polls in the last week, and it's never come out well.
No, particularly not when Daria's involved.
How dare you?
How dare you say something so brave and yet so true?
Hey,
Hey, Captain Kazi. Good to see you, mate. Long time. So, Brendan, I have a question for all of you, but particularly, I think it's particularly relevant to... No, actually, I don't think it is particularly relevant to any of you. I think it's particularly relevant to freaking all of you, because it's a good question. How do you feel in the last... I think the last Table Talks was the end of season... I want to say 2. So in the last sort of 18 episodes or so, about your character's progression, where they've come from, where they've gone, how far they've gone, who they were when you first met up with Tavernish Forks, and he said, oh, by the way, there's a secret entrance to a secret tunnel with maybe a bird cult a little bit. Before you found out about the bird cult, and now, how do you feel they have changed?
Life was so much simpler then.
Yeah.
Was it? Because we were uncovering a government conspiracy.
Yeah, and now it's a
That's
religious
super
and
complicated.
government conspiracy. That's
Yeah,
worse.
And also an elemental war.
Yay!
Things
Yeah.
were simple when we were pointed to a big fire guy and just like, hey, go kill that.
When you were doing Monster of the
oh.
Week, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Monster of the Week.
The thing that I need to keep reminding myself of is not a lot of time has passed. Like in... Oh, what is Bishop? Oh.
I wish I had
Yeah,
more
look.
powers.
I mean, it's not a lie.
I am a treasure. I am a
No one's
blessing.
saying you're not.
No, you certainly are. Yeah. But no, it's been a remarkably short amount of time. Like, last season was no more than a week, surely, because there were a lot of things that like just kept piling on top of us. It was no more than a couple of days. So,
Yeah.
you know, even though a lot has happened, not a lot of time has passed. So it's kind of weird to figure out where that character growth comes. Because like it's natural, like I'm going through that stuff, but like how normal is it? Like, do you need time to explore it? Okay,
Oh,
Daria,
you
you're
shouldn't
looking
have done
spicy.
that. I am one now.
She's been given power.
Yeah, come at me, Bishop. I can time you out, bitch.
What were you thinking? What? I meant the fire
but yeah.
elementals.
I do agree with Brendan that it's difficult to, see like growth of characters when it's like such quick succession of actions. But I do think there were pivotal moments that looking back we will see and say, okay, this is where like the character's trajectory change. So even though in actions we have to be very utilitarian currently, I think there are specific things that like arise because of this like high pressure situation. Like for example, for Julio, the last one like pivotal moment was obviously when he got the powers of the tree. And actually no, I think the actual pivotal moment was when he stood up to a literal god and said, I don't give a shit about you, I will support the older heart. That's the god in my mind. Because the support from the tree was already there, but like the belief, no matter who's in front of you, that's pretty strong. And I think in this season, specifically in the last episode, I think the fact that he is like reaching out and enlisting other priests that might, you know, help propagate the older heart faith, I think that's also big, because he's already starting to think, even though like now is not the time, he's starting to think ahead of the community that will grow.
We'll stop one cult and then Julio will just start another.
Make a new one better.
I mean, are you playing a
better
bard
one.
if you're not starting a cult?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a tiny little cult.
But
Just a little bit of cult. Just
as
a
a
little bit of
treat.
Yeah.
I like. Is it within a week in game time that we made the cathedral in the Older Heart? Because that wasn't a lot of time.
No, it's been about a week, yeah.
Yeah. So a tremendous amount of growth in Julio in a week.
No, it's a little bit more than that. It's about 9 days, I think.
Oh, 9 days.
Yeah, but like that's like 25% longer. But yeah, like yeah.
We're all so
Karen,
juvenile.
how do you feel?
Oh, it's been interesting because
Cash has had to make some big calls as well.
yeah, like I think she's trying not to think too hard about these massive decisions she's been having to make, just because the weight of it all is a lot. That like it's just the scope of it has been expanding so rapidly, and like it's not like she was unused to like being in control of situations and making decisions on behalf of others, but the scale of the decisions she is now making is kind of a lot bigger. So I don't think she's had much of a chance to kind of pause and think about how she feels about that. Beyond her moments of abject panic immediately after kind of the big, well, this is what I'm doing. And whatever you do, it's going to work out for me. So you should probably just not do anything. Which is like, the thing Kesh can be fairly relied upon to not do is nothing. Like, yeah, she's proactive. She'll have her moments of, oh, holy crap, this is really bad. And then be like, well, shit, guess I better do something about it. It's like, oh no, a world-ending calamity. Guess I better do something about that. So I think when things have like calmed down, if they're ever allowed to do that, she'll have more time to like actually reflect on how her kind of the scope of her life expanded so quickly in such a short period of time. But for now, it's just like, right, on to the next decision.
Yeah, like tiny look behind the DM screen, but my intention is once this is solved, that there will be an actual period of nothing in the world, so that time can actually progress a little bit.
Peace and prosperity.
Not necessarily that, but but like,
oh, we're gonna find some bird dicks to mess up, are we?
But
Bird
relative,
dicks.
yeah. Why that? That's very specific.
Yeah.
I meant dicks
Whatever
in the more
floats your boat.
metaphorical sense.
I think, yeah, I would imagine it as a, you guys do some not like off-screen, well, let's not jump too far ahead, but yeah, if and when you manage to resolve the whole thing, there's still a bird cult, unless you're going to hunt them each down and kill them individually. You might identify a few, but it's going to be impossible to find them all. So you actually have to, like, all at once, you'd have to actually go looking for them. And I could imagine that the next sort of, period of time would be, Kesh, Julio, and Eric, or some formula of those, going and saying, right, let's see if we can't find some. Let's go and see if we can't find the rest of the bird cult, and sort of root it out and tear it out. All the while, Julio promulgating his new cult, possibly with Eric's assistance.
See, my brain just went, so we're going to do cops, but it's Wildwood Brigadiers. Tonight,
But also-
Wildwood Brigadiers. We got a pack of angry Japines wrecking havoc in the upper branches.
Bishop Blood eventually wants to see the larger Everden. I mean, so do I, Bishop Blood. There is, however, an element there of I'm waiting for book 3, because that's where the
Do you know
the
when is
official
it?
canon will be coming out. Well, it is. The trick is, I sort of suspect that they're listening. So it might be actually match up reasonably well with whatever I fucking say. Like, I'm half anticipating finding a place that looks not unlike the phrase Hammerport, or wherever it was I called it, somewhere on the far side of the sea from Saltar's Point. But, and if a what's it called, the where Bennick's from, the name of which escapes me, the Blight Sea crops up. The trick is, my lore is very the official lore of the Humblewoood can fit in very well to any 5e multiverse. You want to jump planes from the Faerun to here, you can. Because I've gone off and said, right, the plane of life and the plane of death are an actual thing. That's not traditional canon and wouldn't necessarily fit easily into everybody else's. So that's causes all sorts of problems. And canonically, the Blight Sea is a place that is rich in death magic in the same way that the Humblewood is rich in life magic. And for similar reasons, there is some nodes scattered around it. And it works, yeah. That's how Phoenix did it. Yeah, exactly. Phoenix has this huge multiverse. And loads of concurrent, but not necessarily interactive. Like, the games don't link up. It's something,
They don't have to unless you want them to.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So yeah, thank you. Interesting answers, all. I suppose the next one would be where, and you don't have to share this, but where are you wanting to take your characters next? Where do you see your character in 3 to 5 sessions? No, 3 to 5 years, or 3 to 5 months in game, which is probably the next 8 years.
Well, at the moment, we're kind of exploring that for Eric. I wanted for a long time to meet the family and see what was going on there. And, I've said basically every week how I've found that. So this has been what my thing has been leading up to for a while. And so we'll see how we come at the end of this season, and on the other side of the life plane to see what is in store next for Eric. But I feel like he's going to be taking a back seat narratively after this little arc.
I'm so excited for the life plane now that I've written it, because that was what I was doing today. I am hyped for it. I was struggling to go to sleep last night, and so I did what I normally do and said to my brain, all right, if you're going to think about shit aggressively, preventing me from sleeping, think about this shit. And I decided what the life plane was going to be like. And there are some custom rules for it. Eric's not going to enjoy it.
Great.
Good to know.
Like, he's going to enjoy it less than Kesh and Julio will. Julio's going to have a great time. Kesh is going to be partially blind the entire time because it's really bright and she can see in the dark. More green star dudes, pretty please. That is a couple of actually... Ooh, valid point. I was going to do a couple of retcons, so I can mention those now. First of all, Kesh, you know how it says on your sheet you can speak Sylvan?
Yes.
You can, but you don't know that.
Oh.
Plot twist.
Plot twist.
Secret talent.
Secret talent, exactly. The official word is that, you know how I said that Sylvan was sort of a pan-Palinar language? Is not. Sylvan is the the primordial dialect spoken on the planes of life and death.
Both of them interesting.
Because there is no real because the plane of death is effectively the Shadowfell, and there isn't really a set language that creatures on the Shadowfell would speak. It's effectively like the ones you find often do speak Sylvan. I was like, abyssal? Not really. Fiend? No, again, not really. That's not what they are. So yeah, I've decided that another word for Sylvan is Fey, and Fey would be the name of the dialect spoken on the plane of life, but it is effectively Sylvan, and they are effectively dialects of primordial. So that's sense. Cool. That's interesting. Repurposed deep speech. Again, I considered it, but I like the Underdark. And there might be one in the Humblewood. You guys just haven't had a look.
Well, deep speech is different to undercommon, right?
Oh, that's
undercommon
true.
Is
yeah.
I think is deep speech like illithid, aberration stuff.
Yeah, that sort of
which
stuff.
Which is usually found in the Underdark.
And undercommon is like Draugr.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, there's that. I also fun milestone. Should I do it? Should I say it today? I'm going to save it. Because it hasn't happened because it was going to happen, but it's not because we're not playing today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's awkward.
A little bit sus. Sorry.
Thanks for teasing us like that. Really
thanks for edging, you bitch.
So what you're saying is next session
there's going to be a thing.
You heard it here first. Something will happen next session.
Something will happen next session. I'll even go. So I will go one step further. It'll happen on Monday. Oh yeah.
Ooh, and without even seeing that night. Nice. Thank you, Josh.
I mean, you can be here.
Monday,
you are allowed to be here. Blue balling. What? Yeah.
5 to 6 years. What are we doing? That was the question, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What are you doing Where do you see your character in 6 months?
Well, for Julio, I think it's pretty clear. I think he kind of found what he was missing. And I think the only thing that might change his trajectory a little bit if he suddenly sees Raleigh again. That's because he doesn't really have much in tying him down to anything. But he was kind of moving from place to place, working here, working there, right? But now that he has a thing that he wants to do, he wants to actually create a community and support all the heart and really make this. He kind of wants this to overtake the religion, at least in all the heart. He kind of doesn't give a shit about those peeps, especially because we know now that they're not actual super duper gods. They're just very powerful peeps, and he's So for now, he's very much set on, okay, we're saving this place, and then I'm cleaning it up. I know you have something planned.
Hey, yo, my girl, sup, y'all? I'm like, Raleigh. Oh, God, no, my girl. Father, help.
No, please.
It's not likely that a person important to a character's backstory will reoccur in D&D.
Would never
Yeah,
happen.
nah, I didn't see that happening. Should be fine.
No.
But it's very interesting if she does appear. Like, I think she will probably, because Josh knows storytelling. But I genuinely don't know how it's gonna go, because they were together, but then they spent a lot of years apart, and they changed. They met. It was not good. It was like weird, and then a little bit, and then they changed, or at least Julia changed even more. So I'm like, I don't even know how that's like. How are they gonna talk to each other?
Yeah. And how about Kesh?
Oh, I think Cash will be working the Wildwood Brigade until she's a ripe old age, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
She's
Would
a horrible...
Kesh take a position on the council if was offered? And or was sort of not offered but expected?
Ooh, like, right now she very much doesn't want to.
No, I know.
Not her vibe at all. But I don't think she'd rule it out when she's a bit older.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, her kind of her elemental slaying days are behind her, and she's just like looking for something a little, you know, a little quieter, a little more low key. So why not get into the cutthroat world of politics? How could that possibly go wrong?
Yeah, look, work for Iari Shadowmoor. Oh yeah. Also, it is now official canon that Nevermore's surname is Ebonheart.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Nevermore and
Okay.
Lazarus were Ebonhearts. Ebonhearts were one of the founding families of the Alderheart and of the Humblewoood generally. Edwin Ebonheart was one of the first 5 councillors of the Birdfolk Council, and married a Mapatch. Interestingly. Yeah, the deepest lore. Yeah, Kesh Shadowmold. Not that. Hot. I don't know. I don't think so at all. There's about 8 reasons why not that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good
Maybe
friends.
politically.
Yeah. Quite aside from anything else.
Not Eric's type.
If Kesh was a Corvum, Granny Shadowmolt would probably be okay with it.
If Kesh was a Corvum, Iari would probably be actively shipping
Actively
it.
seeking that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have been like, oh, why don't you marry my son? You influential, powerful woman, you.
She could pull off Vulpin, yeah, but she can't pull off Bird.
That would be weird.
It would. Cool. Alrighty. Well, guys, do
we
you have
haven't
any...
tried yet.
That's
Next
true.
time we do disguise sesh, we should try to. Yeah.
Also, Julio can pull off female bird with huge breasts. So.
There's not much Julio couldn't pull off in that outfit. Or anyone. What was I going to say? Do you guys have any questions for me? I open the floor to. You can ask DM questions. I will. Reserve the right to not answer if it's giving away too much. But if you want to ask questions, you are allowed.
I have a question that I feel like you can tell us, because I don't think that's going to come up since we're already on the other path. But
Sure.
I'm very much interested in the place on the material plane that you said had the treatment for Eric's mom.
Yeah.
Is that something that you wrote out, or you just like knew that it would take too much time and wouldn't bother?
It's still
You're not
there.
gonna
You could
go
still
all
go.
the way over
But
there.
I was like, the thing was, one way or the other, they would have teleported you there. It wouldn't have taken you too long. You could have done either. Getting back, it was a much of a muchness. I preferred the life playing thing for a couple of reasons, and I'm glad that's the route you took. It's worth noting that, like, I think I genuinely not sure if you were just doing it because that's what I was putting down, you were picking it up, or it was. I think it's more narratively interesting for you guys, particularly Julio.
Kesh has done the plane of death. She wants to check off the other one, you know.
Narratively, when you had laid down the hints for the other place
Hmm.
after having already had Ravanya say, "Hey, you could go to the plane of life." Like once that was a clear binary choice, I as a player was like, "Of course we're going to the plane of life."
Yeah.
Like,
That sounds much
do
more
we go?
dangerous.
Yeah, do we go to the plane of life or another country? Like, yeah.
Yeah. And I put that down there. It's fully anticipating you guys to take the life plane option. But you could absolutely have gone. I hadn't made any significant notes about it at all. I could have, but I do my note making in reaction to what you guys do.
Yeah.
Mostly just so I don't duplicate effort. I don't make stuff that I don't use. More like the plane of cancer. Look, cancer is life. It's not nice life. I'm not saying I'm pro-cancer, but yeah, I much prefer Sagittarians.
You heard
myself.
it here first. Corsair's Cove is pro-cancer.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah, but Gemini can still fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Aquarians, don't get me started. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. I think it would be cool to go. I love making up completely new places. It is a little bit more labor intensive, but then making up the plane of life was also fairly labor intensive. I've been at my computer all day. Normally these sessions I prep in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Today was an 8 hour.
Oof. Oh,
Wow.
And had a lot more thought, like, what's it going to be like? How do I make it work? How do I, I created sound sets for it. Yeah. I've been
Excited for the next Thursday then.
Yeah.
So
Stupid
excited.
tech issues.
Yeah, now you have a whole week to just think on
No,
that.
because now I don't have to prep next
Holy
Thursday. I'm not doing shit. It will not be changed.
The job's done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Walking away.
Relatable.
Here's the interesting, because you were talking about how Kesh is going to be half blind in the plane of light. And I'm like, if Kesh comes out of this with severely compromised eyesight, that'll affect her life choices significantly.
Band-Aid Betty, you are a little bit ahead of me there. Just steal ideas from Nurgle in Warhammer for the Plane of Life. More like, do you know the plane, what's it called? For in Age of Sigmar, is it Gur? I think it's pronounced Gur. Is the realm of life. Ghyr, I think it's pronounced. Yeah, that actually is a little bit more the way I'm going with it. Gyre or Gur or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it's pronounced, but yeah, that place is pretty cool. And I was, it jumped into my head, and I was like, "Fuck, that's like that." That's not where I'm taking the influence from, but it is like that. And now I've made that association. I might make some, connotations there. The Age of Sigmar stuff is cool, but I don't like it as much as fantasy. Because I'm a traditionalist and I've been at it for 20-something years. Not because it's not good. I just don't like change.
Lies. Mr. Gets bored easily.
In my long running my long running hobbies, I don't like change.
Okay,
Understandable.
that is
My
fair.
issue with it wasn't so much I don't like change, it's I don't like change for change's sake. And I certainly don't like change for making money's sake. Because that's why it was done. There was nothing to do about, oh, well, no, we want to make it better. I'm like, bullshit. You wanted to sell more minis, which is fine. You're a business. You get to do that. But with some minor tweaks to the lore, you could have had the Stormcast Eternals in Warhammer Fantasy without the Etch-a-Sketch end of the world that Age of Sigmar was, where they took all the lore and just went, nah, fuck that, frisbeed it away, and started from over. That's a respectable stance. Thank you very much, Band-Aid Betty. And I spoke to actual Games Workshop employees about it, and they were like, look, have you actually read the lore? I'm like, I've read some of it, and I hate it. That's capitalism, baby. Yeah, I know, right? Apparently it is
Woo.
really good, but...
So, speaking of capitalism, basically, so apparently, and I'm not on Reddit, so I don't really know what's going on. I'm just getting bits and pieces of it through my other social media. Apparently, like the CEO of Reddit is trying to force like some bullshit changes on the website. So basically, everybody's made their Reddit things like they've made them all inactive. So if you go and try to find anything on Reddit right now, you can't see it. They've like the users have blacked out the website because they're like, up with this shit we will not put. And I respect that hustle.
Yep. Take the power back.
Yes.
Workers of Reddit.
Gur. It is actually just pronounced Gur.
Nice.
It's one of the winds of magic in the original fantasy, and then it became the realms of magic.
There's nothing more satisfying than humanity rising up en masse to flip two birds to businessmen trying to make a buck.
The problem is, the minis are freaking cool. Look at that boy. I haven't even painted it.
That's a boy.
I like the one knee, the one metal knee there. That was
one kneecap. So yeah, I'm about halfway done with the ghosty boy.
Ooh.
Nice.
Ooh.
Cool.
They're just really good minis. I'm like, fuck you, but they could have been done in the original. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Warhammer again.
All right. I have a DM question.
Yes. Hit me.
Which is, I think, a pretty obvious one, which we might have already kind of touched on, but since we're kind of in the middle of Eric's family arc at the moment, how was it as a DM taking the stuff that I gave you and making a whole arc out of it?
I loved it. I love working in backstory that the characters are giving me, the players are giving me. I've had good experiences with it and I've had bad experiences with it. I'm not going to drop any names, but yeah, there are some players who are a little bit more in love with what they've written.
Yeah.
And even more irritatingly, when they haven't written it, it's just in their heads. So I don't know it. And then I can't, so I build stuff around what I'm thinking because that nothing has been officially stated, and then have to change it later because it doesn't mesh with what they think. So basically my rule is if you've told me, then I will work with it. But if I've not known and built stuff and then you get cross because I don't know about it, that is very frustrating for obvious reasons. But Dan is really good at it. Dan offers you information that I once turned down and never was allowed to forget it. What do you have to roll to get the bottle of Moscato, Band-Aid Betty? Because I'll roll it for you. A 2. I hope that's what you wanted.
Bishop, why?
That's impressive, even for Bishop. Hey, treasure. Roll. It needs to be the full word. No Moscato. Coffee time. Wow, that's restraint, Bandit Betty. I'd have just straight up had some more Moscato. This is a great thing. You ask them for the roll. This is DM trick, by the way. Ask them for the roll, but you're the one who decides what it means.
Those decisions were not decisions after all.
Where do you head? I go south. Excellent. You run into the thing I prepared. Ah, I meant north.
Yeah.
Ah, excellent. You run into the thing I prepared.
Yeah.
I have another question as well. And you probably will not tell us, but like blink twice or something.
Karen is very gentle. Oh, right.
Okay.
No, sorry, carry on.
No, I'm just very curious. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. But is Eric's mom's disease connected like tightly to Fel? Because I know it's connected to whatever shenanigans they're doing. But like, is it a Fel thing? Are they actively siphoning her power to be like a bunch of people?
They're not doing that.
Okay.
Well,
They're not actively siphoning her power, but it is related to Fel.
Well, Fel's just a real asshole, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's more cult related than Fel related.
Yeah, we knew it's cult related, but I was like very much interested because there's two of them like in the house sniffing about.
More Menzeloth related.
Okay.
So we found out that Mum was sick as a narrative
wedding.
device to get Eric to go to the wedding at the end of season 1. At which point we knew nothing about the cult, and we know canonically the Fells were not present. That's what we know about it.
And at the wedding...
Well, that's what you know about it.
a
Obviously, I
kidnapping
wasn't
happened.
there, so how would I ever know?
Because they
Were
never
you
shut
not
up
there?
about that wedding. That's how you should know. You should know everything that happened at that wedding by now.
That's true.
We even brought you
And-
a plant.
And it's worth
did
noting
you do
that
with
you
it?
were
You tossed it in the
invited to the
trash.
wedding, and and you couldn't come because the wedding was on Mondays.
Yeah.
Don't you hate it when people have their weddings on a fucking weekday?
Oh, I'm fucking saving
Yeah,
that one.
so
Menzeloth is the rot
inconsiderate.
in your core, the venom in your veins, the blight in your bones. It's very good.
Ooh.
I like that.
The testicles in
poetic.
my pants, yeah.
The testicles in your pants.
Yeah.
shame,
I-
you
That
know,
would
I-
explain a lot. Yeah.
In my pocket, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, you said you'd give those back.
No.
Nope. Shipping is so expensive these days.
Exactly. They're safer with me. It's okay.
The Schaden in your Freude.
Nice.
The Bren in your Daria.
No, I don't like that. I just like that early.
I'm sorry, I was just saying how cheap shipping is. Menzeloth is the Lego on your floor whilst barefoot. Yeah, it is also that. I was going to finish answering Brendan's question, though. So, yeah, I loved it. I loved working in all the backstory you gave me, to the point where I'm now asking for more. Like, hey, make up this, because I don't want to. Because it's your family to make it up. I love working in whatever you guys give me. I actually am going to start asking for more cash stuff. I just know that Karen is rather creatively burnt out right now. But yeah, I don't know.
Yes,
I know
you
more
may
about...
ask for things in July.
I know more about things. I know more about Julio and Eric's backstory than I know about Cash's. All I know is her childhood friend was Trish. Beyond that, because she's been a main character for like over 80 episodes now, we're at 110 in the world.
Wow.
When did Humblewoood with Cash begin? Do you remember the date?
Cash was an NPC in episode 3.
And when
of-
was that?
I can't give you the exact date, but I can give you a pretty close estimate because it would have gone up on YouTube no more than a week later. So,
Furiously Googling.
quickly going to Facebook.
While you look that up, I will just say a little bit about how I feel about both as a player and as a DM. When it comes to backstories, I mean, the rule that I come to is if it's not written down and given to the DM, it's not canon because
Absolutely.
the DM is the universe.
Yep.
So
the universe doesn't know,
and-
then the universe can't know.
Exactly. And, sometimes it happens where you say something that is a bit different to what I was thinking, and either because I hadn't written it down, I either need to just deal with it, or we kind of come to a bit of a compromise. But I think that there's no sense in being precious about backstory stuff if it isn't written down and with the DM, because if it's that precious, then it would be there.
Yeah.
And if it's not there, then it's obviously not that important to you.
And you can update the record as you go as well.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping that. And there is a nice thing in Major Magica that I quite like. It's on page 4 of the rules. Before you even go into how the game works, it talks about lines and veils. And then it talks about just straight up retconning shit. Like, if that happened and you're not okay with it, if it makes you feel not okay for whatever reason,
Yeah.
put your hand up and we'll retcon it. And I'm trying to be, like I've said before, I'm trying to be more cool and groovy about that. About not just that, but like about like, oh, someone couldn't make it today. Oh, we had tech issues. Well, fuck it then, we'll just deal with it. It's fine. Like Brendan was not up to streaming on Monday, and that's totally cool. And I think, pretty cool about it. Like, and I'm not like taking a victory lap on that. I'm just like, I have been known to be not as cool and groovy about that, and I'm trying to be better. Hey,
A hard ass.
yeah. Exactly. I don't know if I've been known to be that. That might be more than I was intending, but other people can tell me one way or the other. The answer to the question
you'll
about
rant
when
to me about it, and then you'll turn around and be like,
I'll be super nice about it to everybody else, but no one else.
And then I get an
Thanks.
earful for however long until you feel like you've got that out of your system.
Yeah. It turns out I was wrong. Cash appeared in episode 2.
Ooh.
Which came on YouTube on August 27th, 2020.
2020, 3 years ago.
That's a while. It's a hot minute.
That's a hot minute in the
Actually, do you know
episode
when
straight
the
out of Meadoween.
Humblewoood and anniversary is? Do you know when?
Oh shit! It's probably fairly soon. Yeah, I don't know. Hang on. I mean, Of Acres and Ash, episode 1 went up on the 14th of August, which means it was probably I reckon probably about the 7th. No, 10th-ish, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, feels about right. I'd have to look for the Monday closest to the 14th of August 2020. Would be the original. Which
That's
is neat.
fun to know.
Yeah,
A lot's happened since then.
Yeah.
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 In a pretty short period of time.
Yeah.
Oh, in the,
Like
in
I
the
say
real world.
yes, like I
Yeah.
was here the whole time. Oh yeah, time flies.
Well, you've been here for like half of it.
Yeah, true. The better half, obviously.
Absolutely. I mean, Julio came in episode 10 of this series, and now we're up to, today would have been episode 44.
But that was, again, as he was in NPC.
No. You were in episode, you were in episode 11. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, starting at
we've
episode
got-
11, that was 34 episodes ago.
Eric-
and you've been in
Eric is the
almost
one
every single one
present
since then.
Eric,
Yes.
you didn't start as an NPC. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yay!
You're a real
He's
boy.
special.
OC,
Yeah.
do not steal.
Yeah.
Well, now we gotta steal. Now we want to. Yeah, but
So
actually,
humble.
coming back to the thing you were talking about like backstories, some in my experience as a DM as well, some people like have a very very specific thing that they want, and obviously as a DM you try to be accommodating, but also there's a bit of a difference between like creative writing and like a thing that you create improv with your friends at a table. Like if someone is like very very interested in a specific way to tell a story and will gonna be miffed about it otherwise, that is better served as a short story then.
Yeah.
It
Well,
is.
at the end
It's.
of the day,
Sorry, Karen, go ahead.
Like D&D and like all TTRPGs that like involve like a reasonable amount of roleplay, they are in a sense your collaborative storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got to work with the people you're working with to a certain extent, and yeah, it'll be frustrating at times, but it also has amazing benefits.
Yeah. No, well said. Yeah, I did some math. And worked out how many Dan Suelto was in 86 episodes
Crazy.
so far.
Bloody legend.
He far outstrips anybody else. Rachel has played the single largest character, as in most episodes, at 64. Trish Caper has been in 64 Humblewoood episodes. Kesh has a very not humble at all 42. And Eric wouldn't be far behind. I would have thought no more than 2 or 3 episodes behind. Because he went to a
Well, are
wedding
you
with
counting? Are you counting Cash's NPC appearances?
No, I'm only but I am counting. Karen did actually show up in Of Flocks and Fire once.
Yeah.
So it's that one, and then Cash did a one-on-one with Tavernish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got a couple of extras.
But other than that, it's all the same episodes as Eric.
You okay?
Yeah,
Mm.
I just keep forgetting that my left shoulder is sore, so I go to like push up on the arms of my chair to adjust myself, and then my left shoulder is like, "You hurt me! Why would you betray me like this?"
Daria's one is the hardest to work out, Bishop Blood, because we are counting Assassin Granny. We're also counting Vesna, the the deer folk that you played, and Volos for Brendan. Yeah. And I'm also counting Aoife for Karen as well.
Oh yeah, because technically that's...
Cash has as the only person in the world setting now who has played 4 characters.
Ah!
Nice.
I'm the humble slut.
And
Humble slut in Humblewoood.
Hashtag humble slut.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
I
you have
counted
so much fun being a brothel owner in the Humblewood.
humble
It's like,
slut.
Oh yeah.
Those sluts aren't humble.
Oh, they bragging. They bragging.
Oh dear.
While we're kind of on that sewer talk, my favorite impromptu tavern name that I've come up with is probably the Spitting Swallow.
Oh, I hate that. I just like
Yeah.
that.
I'm not.
Nope, sorry,
the
that's
type-
legendary.
I'm not
Places
the
on
type
Plane
that
of Life.
will- I'm not the type of DM to like write up a list of here's all the NPC names and here's all the taverns and play and stores and stuff. Like if a player asks to go to a store, I say, okay, you go to the store, and it's not until they say, and what's it called, where I'm like,
Fuck off.
fuck, okay.
Oh, fine.
But no, that's the one that I am probably the most proud of.
Nice. Also,
What?
was the first character I played here the vampire goth boy? I forgot.
That wasn't in this world. It was on Corsair's Cove.
That was the first
Oh.
time I played on your channel, right?
Yeah.
What was that in? What was that for?
That was the one shot. That was the first time we streamed. Gosh, was it even here? I think it was over on Roll for
It
Damage,
was.
you know.
It was your first inaugural Corsair Cove.
That was
thing.
Edith. That was Edith
wow, okay.
Elderberry. That was
Oh,
in
that one was for Roll
in
for
Humble
Damage.
Heist. Yeah, you did when I ran into the empty quarter. I ran it on Roll for Damage. And that was when I first saw your art, and I was like, shit, I need Daria to do my art for Humblewood over on Corsair's
I
Cove.
did fan art for my goth boy. Yeah, I remember.
And I was like, well,
Yes.
good.
Yes, I remember this now.
Yeah.
I remember you. I remember your goth boy.
That boy.
Good times.
Yeah, it was fun. That was 2021.
No. Yeah, probably actually. Yeah, that's
Must
about right.
have been, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty. Chat, do you have any questions that you'd like to throw at us? Yeah. We've had a lot of players in this setting as well. I'm actually forgotten. I'd forgotten a couple, and I'm now adding them. Yeah. Karen, do you have any questions for the DM?
I'm curious if, in terms of Eric's family, if there's anything, Eric, that you'd kind of decided internally in your head that Josh then kind of ended up putting a different spin on. Was there anything that you remember particularly that you kind of imagined one way and then Josh had gone in a different direction with it?
Yeah. Probably the clearest thing is I actually wrote this as well, but it got changed and that was super fine. But I had written that Eric's dad kind of was, and this has stayed, that he was basically bred to be the husband,
Hmm.
but that he was also kind of bred to be like a social assassin. That he was supposed to be like one of the fixers who would, go to court with people and suss people out and socially and literally assassinate them if he needed to. That was what I had in my head. And like I said,
ruled that out.
no, we haven't. But
We haven't seen him do it, but
Eric's
When-
assassin's dad's adventures.
when we went to Mark, and Mark was telling us about this shady Corvum who turned up at his door at the middle of the night to threaten him, I thought, okay, this is where this law's coming in, and then it ended up being Fel, which I think works for the existing law, and sure it hasn't been ruled out, but from what we have seen of the family, it certainly at least appears to be much less
likely.
cutthroat
Yeah.
than I had thought. So I wouldn't necessarily want to push that idea of, there being assassins in the family or anything like that.
Yeah, I've
but
played them like they aren't dicks. Like, they're ruthless, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
They do still actually care about each other, just not very many other people.
I had one of my other long-running characters as a player. I had written this backstory. Again, I purposely didn't go into a lot of detail because I think it's important to give the DM room to extrapolate and to come up with stuff. But I had wrote into the backstory that this character's stepdad was a bit of a dick. His father wasn't in the picture because the character's a genasi, so the dad's a genie. He's MIA, and the mother remarried, and the stepdad's a dick. And 20 sessions in, we meet the stepdad, and he's super reasonable. And my character's just being a petulant stepchild, which I really liked, because I like that's realistic, that you are the hero of your own story most of the time, and people, particularly when you're younger and in your developmental years, people who are antagonistic towards you are the baddies.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Yeah, it felt really natural that, you come back to a situation as an adult and you realize, oh, actually, I was misreading this. Yeah, I was just being a bit of a brat. So, and this was very similar. So I think that's neat.
Well, another thing that might be the thing that changed the family as well is the father being sick. So, even people who are usually would be, ruthless and such, if something that they really love is threatened, they kind of change quite a bit. So it's very fair to say that perhaps when things starting to look grim, they remember that they are a family after all, not just a business,
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a really big question in the back of my mind, is how much of this civility and playing nice is because the mum's life is at stake,
and because we're actively winning against the cult as well.
Yeah,
Let's hope it stays.
Yeah, look, I think it's really interesting. I've really enjoyed getting to know the family as characters, and I think there's a lot of depth there.
Fast and the Furriest. It's a TV show that follows a premise called Fleischman is in Trouble. It's about two people's narrative during a divorce. I've grown to enjoy seeing the Raiders' perspectives being pitted against one another. Ooh, cool.
I always love saying to people that, if there's a situation, you know, people's versions of it are kind of quite different, but they both like the people are saying, they're both like speaking like emphatically as if they're telling the truth, and I'm like, they may both think they are. It's a fascinating thing, particularly when you see it play out in real life, and you're just like, you guys are both giving very different versions of how this went down, and it's amazing what details kind of pick up and stick in different people's minds, and what version of events that they decide is the best kind of representation. It may not even be a conscious decision. It's just how they've decided to interpret that situation.
It's actually a concept that I've always been really interested to explore in theatre.
Oh, but how without making it really trite? Because you see some people do it, like play with that sort of concept of like, but this is so-and-so's version of the truth. And then it just comes off as really like, so it's a way of finding a way to do it where it's really actually getting into that kind of,
So we're getting a bit,
I was going to say, should we play? Should we go and play some games? But now Brendan wants to talk. Let's do it.
I do. We'll get to Jackbox in a sec. Band-Aid Betty was asking, but this is something that I'm very excited about. So there's a few different ways that you could do it, but I think what I think is one of the easiest ways would be you do immersive theatre, and so you have, let's just say, 2 groups of actors, and the audience, you divide them up however you want to divide them, and the characters that you're with talk about the other characters. Like that's the simplest way, right? They're obviously going to frame themselves in the more positive light and say, this is what this person did to me, and omit certain things and emphasize other things. And you have 2 groups of characters doing this, or more groups of characters doing this. So then when the audience get back together midpoint or at the end of the show, they say, I liked this person because they did this, and they go, what? That guy was a dick because of this. And they go, oh, I didn't know that. I think that's the way you do that kind of narrative.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my theatre nerd stuff done.
Thank you.
Nerd.
Yeah. Crispin Crunch says the mother of our tenant is quite capable of firmly believing 2 different versions of the same sentence within 10 minutes. Do you believe the first portrayed protagonist would be the natural crowd favorite? Like the crowd would create a preference because that's the first exposed protagonist?
Why do you think the prosecution gets to go first in a trial?
It's a narrative device that you can play with, and lots of
firing
films
shots.
have. Yeah.
No,
I'd almost want to do it as 2 shows. Have the same show done twice from 2 different perspectives. I mean, there is one that actually does sort of play with it. Noises Off, which is a comedy. It's a farce. And it's very funny. The show, it's a play within a play. And the first act, it's a 3-acter. The first act is you see the final dress rehearsal. And you see it from the front of the stage, from the front of the set. And then the second act, you're halfway through the run, the actors all hate each other, and the stage has rotated 180 degrees, and you're now seeing behind the scenes. So the play goes on out the front, the audience cannot see it, but the actors are still performing the play, and then behind the scenes they are being horrible to each other, silently. Or almost silently. And then the third act, you reverse it again, so you're back seeing the front, but also it's the final show and they all just loathe each other and they're actively sabotaging each other whenever they can. And it's extremely funny. But yeah, that flipping the actual stage so you can see what's going on behind, different perspectives can be extremely fun to play with. It was also a beast of a set to build, and then I broke my leg. I damaged my knee to the point where I couldn't be in it anymore because my character spent half of the second act hopping because someone had tied their shoelaces together and I was not physically capable of performing the role. So Adam Perkins came in and replaced me at like a week's notice, and I was like, damn it! Stupid set. Anyway, ladies and gents, we should go away for a little minute, throw up our lovely break screen, and we will be back with some Jackbox games. Why not? Fuck it. Let's do it. Alrighty.
Oggy.
We'll see you in a second,
Yeah.
everybody.
Bye.
Band-Aid Betty is
Bye-bye.
very thankful for Eric being so open-minded as to have two conflicting character perspectives as well. Cheers. Well, you're very welcome, Band-Aid Betty. Go get some Moscato. See you in a minute. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.